The male loneliness epidemic is completely self-induced. This is what happens when you treat women like and I don't feel sorry for you.
Guys who are able to say, I know I have value and this is the value that I bring, and they have standards that you have to meet. That's what a lot of women are now saying is mistreating.
If the man makes $80,000 per year and the wife makes $40,000 per year, together their household income is $80,000 per year.
A man makes money to take care of his woman and his family, and a woman makes money to take care of herself.
Is it a red flag if a girl knows a lot of guys at the bar?
Huge red flag. First of all, why are you spending so much time at bars? What are you doing?
Why do men talk about women turning 30 and being single as if it's like the worst thing in the world? They're free from you.
So let's just be honest about what that 30 means. When you show up at 35 and you're like, oh, she's 30, she's still young, but she's been open like the 7-Eleven for a decade? Man, this one is the gift that keeps on giving, by the way. We have a few clips from her today, and we're going to deliver. Let's do it. Hello and welcome back. Ooh, so good to see you. 7 clips today to dissect, and we're going to deliver. Let's do it. Hit it. Number 1.
The male loneliness epidemic is completely self-induced. This is what happens when you treat women like and I don't feel sorry for you. I'd even go as far as to say, you're not lonely enough. Oh, you're uncomfortable with my opinions and political views? How do you think women and minorities feel when you mistreat them? You people have no original personality and you repeat the same shit. Women expire after 30. 1,000 women versus accountability. Septum ring theory. You just sound the exact same. Get an original personality and stop listening to alpha male podcasts.
Man alive. Doesn't she seem like she has such a lovely personality herself? Ooh, someone looks angry, twisted, like she had a bad night's sleep. Honey, starting off messy, just saying. Okay, so can we just talk about this? I love this idea of everyone's mistreating women all the time. Right? Guys are mistreating women. Right? Mistreating, now she goes as far as to say like minority women. She's getting specific with it, but guys are mistreating women. Are there some guys that mistreat women? Sure. Generally speaking, are guys mistreating women? No, that is not what's happening. What's happening is that women want the benefits of equality, right? They want the benefits of equality. I call it selective equality, right? They want to do all the stuff that a guy can do. They want to be a man. They want to travel down a male path. They want to do all of that stuff selectively. And then they want to turn into the damsel in distress when it's convenient. So what's happening is guys are getting confused, irritated, agitated, and saying, I don't even want to do this anymore, right? You're seeing a wave of women that are going ballistic, and you can see it in their eyes. Like the crazy eyes are getting crazier. The panic is getting bigger because guys are, in many respects, just saying like, I'm done. Now, are there still hordes of women getting attention online? Yes. Those are by the guys that are more the simpy guys, the guys that don't have options, the guys that are still throwing themselves at these women and shouldn't be, should instead be making something of their lives so that they become magnets for women, right? And they don't have to chase. We know that. But the guys that do have options and the guys that are more high caliber guys and the guys that have some assets and the guys that have their finances in order and probably the guys listening to this show right now, hey now, hello everyone, aren't trolling for these women and they're going nuts. So they're turning like a little evil, right? And they're starting to say, you're all bad. You all mistreat women. They hate when men listen to shows like this. Hate it. Burns them inside. Why? Because they want men to be listening to shows saying, guys, you're bad, you're toxic. You need to do X, Y, and Z. Happy wife, happy life. You need to fall in line. Guys are no good. Guys need to get their you know what together because women rule the world. Girl power. You need to get in line. You need to do X, Y, and Z, but we don't have to do X, Y, and Z in return. They want you listening, you guys in the audience, you make up a large part of this audience. They want you listening to that. So you then, your masculinity shrinks, your self-esteem shrinks. You've got no sense of ego whatsoever. And then you just become like a servant for them, right? You chase them. You do everything they want. You're like a little puppy dog, right? They're like, get in line, and you get in line. And then you know what they do? They leave you. And then some of you learn, right? But that's not who's listening to this show. And that's not who's listening to a lot of content where men are now talking to men. We had Bachelor on. He said he's been doing this for years, trying to really talk to men. And so many men are now listening. He said, if you remember and go back and watch that show, they're tired. And now the women are going nuts. They're going cray, and they're starting to look cray, which makes guys now take an extra minute and say, ooh, was I chasing her last year? Ooh, she looks kind of nuts. I'm pass, right? And why are you able to pass? Because you have a life. Guys that have a life are able to say pass on the woman who doesn't deserve them, right? You've got your finances, you've got your gym, you're in shape. You know you bring something to the table, and you know exactly what that is, right? Guys who are able to say, I know I have value and this is the value that I bring, now have expectations of women to bring value of their own. Not the same value as a man, because they don't need a carbon copy of themselves, honey, but different value. And they have standards that you have to meet. That's what a lot of women are now saying is mistreating. It's mistreating to say, honey, what do you bring to the table? I bring this, this, and this. What do you bring? No, I don't give a lick that you make $100K a year. I don't care about that. What do you bring to the table that I, as a man, value? You're mistreated. That is what's being advertised as mistreatment. Men who have standards, men who have self-respect, men who aren't going to get in line with my masculinity is toxic talking points. That's what she's talking about. She's not talking about an abusive guy. Yes, that's bad, right? Yes, we can all acknowledge that if there are men that are abusive, if there are women that are abusive, that is bad. We don't want violence. We don't want emotional abuse, but that's not what they're talking about. I'm telling you, they're talking about men with self-respect who don't take from women. They find that to be mistreatment because they want to run the show. They want to run you. You going to let them run you? I don't think so. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. You know you want to. You know you have to. Keep listening to shows like this, you know. That's right. All right, number 2. Oh, Honey Love Muffin's got an ego. Let's play it. This is what she says, Honey Love Muffin. On my way to destroy a man. Ooh, how cute. And then in parentheses, I speak 7 languages, have 150 IQ, have 2 degrees, and I am a literary and music genius. Did somebody blow her head up like a balloon before that clip? I mean, can you even imagine saying this crap? So, what's interesting to me is all of that stuff may be true, but she still felt the need to put on a little skirt and the boots and all that. Do you know why? Because she knows you don't really give a lick about any of that stuff. And deep down inside, she knows that what you're really going to be drawn to is she cute? What is she wearing? Guys are drawn to the visual, right? So why didn't she go in a brown paper bag? Why? Because she knows that you don't care that she speaks 7 languages, and you don't care that she has 150 IQ, and you don't care or give a lick about her 2 degrees, and you really don't even know what it means that she's a literary and music genius, because what the hell does it mean? Who even knows, right? You don't care about any of that. So, and she knows that deep down inside. She wants to say all those things, like she's a walking resume and I have all these things, but deep down inside, she knows that, number 1, you don't care about any of that stuff that she has on her walking resume. Number 2, if you do care, it's going to be a negative. You know why? Because all of those things are going to make her an ego-centric, crazy, difficult to please, hard to deal with. I'm perfect and I deserve nothing but the best at all times. I'm a 10 mentality that makes her unbearable, right? So if anything, the fact that if she had all of those things but had some humility, which is hard, right? The more you accomplish as humans, right? The more we accomplish, we get a little bit of sense of ego, and it grows and it grows. And these women get so much attention that it's just like an inflated balloon at the Macy's Day Parade all the time. She likely will be more entitled, more annoying, more like I'm the shit, right? Because of all this crap that he ultimately, as a man, doesn't care about. So I always say, does she know? I think they do know. I think they really do know. They want to pretend like you care about this stuff, but they do know, because ultimately when they go out at the club, they're not walking in a turtleneck, right? They're walking in with the girls out with all the short skirt, all decked out, fake eyelashes, all that stuff, because they know that their real power is actually in their attractiveness, in their sex appeal, in all of those things. Yes, in their fertility, we talk about that, but in their femininity, that's where the power really lies. So that's what they amp up when they're going and looking for attention. But they want to be able to say all of these things make me the prize, because, feminism and, modern culture told them that all those things should be the prize to a man, right? They want to tell you guys what you should value. So, they're walking around saying, I have all these things, but they know deep down inside. Who cares that you speak 7 languages? Honestly, great. Next, What is that going to, is it going to make you a good mom? Is it going to make you a good wife? Is it going to make you respectful and loyal and devoted and all these things that a man cares about? You're 150 IQ. Yeah, so what? Like, can you cook a good steak, honey? I mean, honestly, let's be real about what the day-to-day really entails. He's not looking for you to be Aristotle, honey. He's not. He's not. That's where you forgot your role as a female. And I'm not saying your only role is to cook a good steak, although it is a beautiful thing to put a good steak on the table. I'm just saying it is. Not saying that your only role. We talk about what your role is as a woman. Loyalty, devotion. Are you a good mom? Do you make a house a home? Are you a woman of virtue? Are you respectful? Are you supportive? All of these things, right? We're not saying just put a good steak, although the steak it goes a long way. That's all I'm going to say, especially if it's cooked just right. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? He's not going to care that you're a literary and music genius, right? He's just not. He's not. That is not the priority. Now, it may be, maybe for some, say she has some, skill. She's an artist. She draws. Oh, that's nice. That's great. Okay. And then he's like, okay, now that's not on his list.
I think one issue with modern dating that I haven't seen a lot of women talk about is the number of women who are disproportionately more educated than men. Between the ages of 25 and 34, women outnumber men in bachelor's degrees by 10%. The gender gap is really only getting worse. Like, for example, right now, the percentage of women who are enrolled in undergraduate universities across America is 20% more than the number of men who are. I think this gap in education becomes very apparent in dating because you don't really want to text somebody who's constantly speaking with grammatical errors, who can't keep up with you intellectually, who's not good at communicating their thoughts and putting them into words and really concisely, effectively communicating them to you. For the first time in American history, the average woman is more well-educated than the average man. And I think that's why we have issues like the male loneliness epidemic. A lot of women choosing to be single voluntarily because they've poured energy into other hobbies and other academic efforts or things that are more mentally stimulating.
Man, this one is the gift that keeps on giving, by the way. We have a few clips from her today and a separate show I actually pulled for her, too, because she's crazy. So, interestingly, women are getting more educated. And when we say education, I'm going to be very clear about this word because a bachelor's degree to me is not an education. I say this as somebody who has a master's degree and it was completely effing useless. I say this as somebody who graduated 4.0 from college and it was completely effing useless. I didn't have any practical skills at all. Okay. Not something to be proud of, but I'm being honest with you all. It was a complete waste of time. Other than the social component of it, I got nothing out of that so-called education, right? So they're saying, okay, women are more educated. They're talking about BAs. They're talking about fancy degrees, right? Which we all know is a load of crap a lot of the time, right? You go to school, you get indoctrinated, you have no practical skills. In many cases, they go to school. What do you do at school? Getting drunk, going to parties. Like a lot of people just it's a time sink, right? For a lot of people. But she likes the degrees. So I would ask her, women are more educated. Are they more happy? Are they happier than they were before? No. So you got all this education and you have all these fancy degrees. Or if you're not happier, what is the freaking point? What is the point? What did you ultimately get out of it? Well, I can make my own money. Okay, really? You're going to make your own money and you're going to be stressed out and you're going to be crazed, probably spend your whole 20s sitting in cubicles, grabbing coffee and doing chores and doing errands and climbing some ladder that you ultimately realize at 35 you didn't even want to climb, getting exhausted, sitting under blue light, no outdoor time, stressed out, cortisol spiking. What are you happier? No. You're not happier. So you got more educated. Congratulations, honey. And in that process of these women getting more educated, because when women get more educated, they have this bizarre sense that this education on paper is like the equivalent of smarts, right? Whatever. So they start demanding that of men, right? The same way that if they make the 100K, now they want you to make a certain percentage over the 100K. So what are they doing ultimately? They're just decreasing their options in guys, right? Because why? A lot of guys are waking up to the reality that a college degree is not the answer for them. And they're learning instead how to do something. They're learning how to do an online trade, whether it's, AI or whatever it may be. They're learning how to do something practical, or they're saying, I want to open a construction business a la, Justin Waller, or they're doing something that they say, I want to get involved in real estate. And they're making money. Right. So they don't have your fancy degree, honey, but they're making money and they're learning how to do something useful, practical skills. Right. That's the wave that's happening among a lot of guys right now who don't want to sit in school for years and come out and be like, oh, wow, I just spent a boatload of money and I can quote some, Shakespearean sonnet because I had to memorize it for a class. But what do I do now? Right? They don't want to be in that position, rightfully so. So women are now saying, well, I have this degree, so you have to have this degree. And I make this amount of money, so you have to make this amount of money. So now they're just weeding out all their options, right? And they have some perception that guys in, say, construction or plumbing, even if they own the damn business, aren't like good enough for them because there's like a grammatical error in their, text. And they're too snooty for that. So then you wake up, you've weeded out all these guys. You say they're not good enough for me. They don't have the fancy degree. They don't make enough money. And then you wake up at 35 alone, right? So again, you got more educated. You reduced the options of men for ridiculous reasons in large part. You also are not as happy. So what did you get? So she's talking about this like it was a plus for her. And I would just love to know, honey, where's the plus? We're waiting. Today's show is brought to you by, this is one of my favorite companies to partner with. This is American Hartford Gold. I've always believed in personal responsibility, taking care of your family, protecting what you've earned, and not waiting around for the government or Wall Street to do that stuff for you. But let's face it, things are getting out of control. National debt's exploding, inflation is hitting hard, the market has been dropping, you know it. If you've been relying on it to protect your future, then that should be your wake-up call. That's not fear-mongering, that's just reality. For those of us who still believe in traditional values like working hard and saving smart and providing for the people you love, we need to think seriously about how to protect our money. That's why I trust American Hartford Gold. They help you to move your savings into something real, something physical. Gold and silver, not paper promises, not digital currencies, real lasting value. You can have gold and silver delivered straight to your door. How cool is that? Or you can place it in a gold IRA that gives you powerful tax advantages. Did you hear that? Their customer service is exactly what you'd hope for. I love it. It's honest. It's helpful. It's totally committed to walking you through every step. Super helpful. They've earned an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau and the trust of thousands of families, including my family. And right now, when you make your first purchase and mention my name, mention Jedediah, you could qualify for up to $15,000 in free silver. How cool is that? Amazing. This isn't about politics. It's about being smart. It's about being prepared. It's about doing right by the people who count on you, your children, your family. Call 844-725-1818, or you can just text Bila to 65532. That's 844-725-1818, or text Bila to 65532, or you can just click on the link below. It's all going to be in the show description. All the details are below. Take control of your future because no one's going to do it for you. Start with American Hartford Gold. Number 4, this is also connected to the last clip. So she's talking about education and how educated she is. So this is a response. Let's do number 4.
Show me your hairline. Show me your hairline. Every guy who comments shit like this under my videos is balding, short, or broke. So which one are you? Show me your hairline, and that's the fee to comment dumb shit on my video.
Okay. Education doesn't mean intelligence. So somebody wrote her and echoed what we said, right? Education doesn't mean, it doesn't, honey. It means you went through the system, you got your little diploma, yay you, and usually you can't do lick, right? So her response to that, being that she has this fancy education, right, is to talk about his hairline. Is to be like, show me your hairline. Show me your hairline. Because the guys that are saying that education doesn't matter are either bald or, so that is all she had to offer you. So, honey, my point in bringing this up is you're talking about education. That's all you got. Your response to someone making a very valid point, right? He didn't disrespect you. He didn't say something nasty to you. He just said education doesn't equal smarts. Your response to that was some nasty dig about his hairline. You don't even know what he looks like. You have no idea who you're talking to because your big, lofty bachelor's, master's, whatever you have, didn't teach you a lick about how to interact with people. And you instead went for the insults, acting like a 6-year-old. So when you say, show me your hairline to him, I would say, show me your degree, honey. Show me your major. Did it teach you anything about interpersonal skills? I'm just saying, listen, you dish it out. You got to be able to take it. Okay. Same girl, another clip. Let's take a look.
Why do men talk about women turning 30 and being single as if it's like the worst thing in the world? They're free from you. We should have a ceremony. They're blessed. They're free from your shit. That's awesome. You don't like them anymore? That's great.
Okay, first of all, men aren't talking about, this is ridiculous. Men aren't talking about 30 as, oh, you're 30 years old, like good for nothing. That's not what's happening. Okay, we know that these ages, by the way, when people marry, are getting older and older and older, right? We used to say 35 was when the women would start to panic. It's not even that anymore. I always find myself going into that 35, but I'm like, no, Jed, that was like 5 years ago. Now it's more like 38, 39, 40 now where the panic sets in. Guys aren't saying that about you at 30. What they are saying is that, wow, if I want to have, 5 kids and I want to have a big family and I want to take my time and all of these things, what is my best route to do that, right? And so, yeah, they're looking at your age. And also they're saying, what has she been doing for the last 10 years to get an attitude like this? This woman is like just seething resentment and anger. And like, does she seem happy to you? Does she seem happy? Does that education that she's so proud of and the fancy degree that she's so proud of, does she seem happy? Or perhaps would another woman who didn't do that, who came, out of high school, maybe went to some little bit of college, wasn't particularly ambitious, but got like a small job helping her family out, is, super feminine, is, didn't have all the stress of the career climb, is, in her like feminine energy, is happy, is watching the, oh, look at the grass. It looks so pretty today, is calm. And who would a guy choose? Just tell me, who would you choose? It's so obvious, right? Do you need a headache like this because she has a fancy degree? Or do you need someone who's just content, right? A woman who's just content and she's not a climber and she doesn't have your masculine energy because that's your job. She's got her own feminine energy. I mean, these women are making themselves increasingly undesirable. So the 30 is not just tied to, the talking points of fertility and all, because you can be 30 is young for fertility. It still is. If you're a woman and you're taking care of yourself and you're healthy, 30 is still young. It just is. If you're not taking care of yourself, you're not healthy, you got all the hormone disruptors, all that, that's a different story. But if you're a woman, taking care of yourself, 30 is still young. That's not really what it's about. When you ask these guys, they're like, what have they been doing? Have they been career climbing? Or worse even, did they spend their 20s sleeping with every Tom, Dick, and Harry, open like the 7-Eleven, nasty stuff, body count? Oh, my body count is like 65. Oh, well, one day I'll find, a good husband and I'll just forget about all that. Is she doing that? And then damaged and then can't pair bond and then a hot mess for you when you show up at 35 and you're like, oh, she's 30, she's still young, but she's been open like the 7-Eleven for a decade. So let's just be honest about what that 30 means. It's about what you've been doing with your life. Now, there may be a woman who's 30 who didn't sleep with everyone, who just didn't meet the right guy, right? Has a very short dating history, who took really good care of herself, who didn't stress herself out at work, and she's still really hot and valuable. Great. But there's too many women that land at 30. We're showing videos of 21-year-olds talking about body counts of, I don't know, like 30, like nasty. Can you imagine by 30? And another thing is, I want to hear this woman talking at 35. You're so blessed. You're so blessed that guys are rejecting you at 30. Oh, yeah. Keep walking. Why? Because you got a flood of guys that are still in your DMs, all the simpy guys. Wait till the numbers start shrinking. The panic sets in. Hit that subscribe button. Hit that like button. You got to support the show. Listen, we are growing. I think we're like at 80. I don't know where we're at. Somewhere. Subs. When we get to 100K, we'll do something special. Ooh, what are you going to do, Jed? I don't know. Something cool. And we need you to pass this channel along to friends, to family. We need you to hit the sub. A lot of y'all watch, but you don't hit sub. That helps me with the algorithm. Also, I want you to comment. I want you to hit that like button. It helps us to grow, get our message out there. You really want to take down this crap? You got to help me grow. Just saying. All right, number 5. Let's do it. Don't you all wish you could go back to a time where these videos with them playing the music and doing the eye rolls just didn't exist? I come from that generation, and let me tell you, it was peaceful. It was peaceful. But Jed, you have a show that has this content. It's true. They do feed the show. Have to be grateful for small things. All right. What does the text say on that? It says, some say every newborn should have a DNA test so dads know the child is really theirs. Are you ready to take a yearly lie detector test in return, or is that different? First of all, honey, it is different for many reasons. The reason these guys are asking for the DNA test, is because these women are just they're not loyal. They're not faithful, right? So these guys are like, hey, you know, are you just trying to get pregnant for financial reasons? A lot of questions out there right now about that. What I love about this video is a different angle of it, though. She's asking the guys to take a lie detector test as if men are the only people ever that lie. Honey, do women not lie? Do women not lie? That is so utterly ridiculous. Imagine living in a world where you bought the talking point that men are liars and all women are bearers of truth. Guys, how many women do you know that have lied to you, that have cheated, that have done horrible things, that their phones are just filled with just craziness with other guys? This happens all the time. There are good men. There are good women. There are bad men. There are bad women. Stop painting it like all men are bad and all women are just sprouting angels' wings, honey. It's not true. And it is different. How do you equate a DNA test to know if a baby is yours with a lie? How do you, a lie, just a random lie? How do you equate those two things, number one? And how do you make it that the lying is only something that would be relevant for men because women don't lie? This is the dumbest video. Oof. She thought she was doing something cute with that song, too. Number 6. This is a great video, guys. I want you to get in the comment section on number 6 and get in the chat. And I want you to weigh in. Let's listen.
From a guy's perspective, is it a red flag if a girl knows a lot of guys at the bar? Like, you guys go out together and y'all walk into a bar and it's just like, she's just like, hey, like, knows the bouncer, knows the bartender. Is that like...
And like other guys too, but they're like her friends.
Like, is it unattractive that she's super social, or
is it more attractive because she is social and she's likable? Well, I know, like, if a guy was to do that, I would be kind of probably, like, turned off because it's a guy. But, like, for a girl, I feel like it's just like, oh, she's social.
Yeah, we walk into a bar and the guy that I'm with is, like, talking to a bunch of people being like, hey, and it's a mix of guys and girls. Like, that's a turn on. I think it's attractive because he's social. If it's all girls, no, because I know that guys can't be friends with girls. But I know girls can be friends with guys. So the other way around, like, a guy shouldn't be turned off if I know a lot of people.
Exactly, because if we wanted them, we would be with them, but
Exactly.
we're not.
So from a guy's perspective, let us know.
Okay, so she's saying let us know. So I want you to get in the comments, guys, and I want you to let her know. Let them know. And I'm going to answer. I'm going to give my take. So for me, huge red flag. Girl walks into a bar, knows the bartender. Hi, John. Knows the DJ, knows the owner, knows the bouncer, knows everyone in the bar. Like, suddenly there's like all these guys. Oh, hi, how are you? Oh my God, I haven't seen you in so long. Like, whatever that is. What does that mean? Oh, hey, remember when we like made out all night like 2 years ago? So weird. Anyway, hi, this is John. First of all, why are you spending so much time at bars? What are you doing? Are you like drinking too much, getting sloppy, hooking up? Are you low-key flirting with everybody all the time? Why are you spending your time at bars? So much so that you know so many people in a bar. Did you work there? Like, there's some caveats here. I remember I worked in a lounge for a short period of time. And when I got out of grad school, I was like, I don't want to do smart things. I'm done doing smart things. I wanted to go work. So I worked in a lounge. It was an early shift because it was in the financial district in New York. And as a result, I knew the owner because he was my boss, right? I knew the bartender. These are coworkers, right? So when I quit that job, because I never wanted to work that hard, truthfully, I was like, oh, it's too many stairs. It's like too much. When I quit that job and I would go back, I would know people because I worked there, right? So are there caveats to this? Yes, but she's not talking about that. She's talking about people who walk in and they know people because they're there every Friday and Saturday night, drinking it up, maybe smoking, maybe doing a little something, hooking up, that. So obviously this is a red flag. Why would you want your girlfriend to be like all over the bar like that? Also, she's asking, is it better for her to be super social or to be quieter? Quieter is always better. Quieter, low-key hot is, guys, am I right? Low-key hot is like the green flag, right? She's hot, but she's not like all over the place. Like, oh, in your face, loud, annoying, rambunctious, probably hooked up with a bunch of people. Like the loudness kind of goes with personality traits. Am I not right? The louder they are, like the more likely it is they've been spreading for everybody. It's just true. Also, she says like, oh, those are guys, but those are like my friends. Honey, no, because that's also not going to be cute. You have a boatload of guy friends. What did you do with them? When did you do it? What do they want to do with you? What do those conversations look like after dark? How affectionate has it gotten? What's going on? And you know, these youngins have some weird stuff. I remember going to a party. God, how old was I? I was probably like 30. And I remember going to a party and there were some youngins. I call them the youngins. They were like 21. So they were really young. And there were a few of them there. And I remember that like a girl had a boyfriend who was overseas. And I turn around and she's like sitting on her guy friend's lap and he's got his arm around her waist and they're just like hanging out. And I remember like saying to my friend, like, what the hell is going on? And she was like, oh, that's just like what they do. And I was like, that's not her boyfriend. That's creepy. That's weird. What the hell? Ooh, get me out of here. Right? From an older generation, that is not how it went. Like you did not get affectionate in any way, shape, or form ever with a man that was not your man, right? That is just not okay. No hand holding, no like long kisses, hugs, no leaning on the couch, like watching a movie together and like, no, that did not happen. But that's what they're doing now. So when they say male friends, just know, are they cuddling? What's going on there? There's a creepy closeness that happens. Less social, less flirt. Like they don't want you flirting with the whole bar. Also, she says just quickly, on this one that she doesn't like when guys do it because she doesn't like when you walk into a bar and like the guys know everyone either. Well, yeah, but for a different reason, because now you as a woman are saying, what the hell is he doing hanging out in a bar? First of all, does he drink too much? And secondly, why isn't he out doing something productive, right? So guys, if you're hanging around the bar, that's going to be a turnoff too. You know, every Tom, Dick, and Harry in the bar, that's not going to be for a different reason. That's not going to be, she doesn't want you hanging out in a bar. She wants you, out making money, being successful and not having time for all that nonsense. Because what happens, does any good come of time spent in a bar? Typically, no. It's like the dark side, right? We all know it. People don't go into the bar to like make like light beautiful. No, it's the dark scene. So she doesn't want you in that either. Let's just be honest. For different reasons.
Just a quick reminder, if the man makes $80,000 per year and the wife makes $40,000 per year, together their household income is $80,000 per year. Just a quick reminder.
I love how they say this. I love how they say this stuff and then in the same breath have the balls to say like, I am the prize. So you hear what she's saying. And we all know this is true, that if he makes 80K and she makes 40K, it's like the house made 80K because his money is the family's money, but her money is her money, right? This is also why, honey, this is why guys don't give a lick about your career. This is why they don't give a lick about how much money you make, because your money is your money. And they know damn well that you're going to be spending that on clothes or on handbags or on the nail salon or on, oh my God, I need to dye my hair. My eyebrows are so effed up. They know that you're going to just burn all of that. It's not going to go to the family in the vast majority of cases. It's going to be your stash, right? You're going to have the like, oh my God, just in case he leaves me, which is really, oh, just in case I decide I want to leave him, stash. Right? So his money is your money and your money is your money. So why should he give a lick about your career? Why? A man makes money to take care of his woman and his family, and a woman makes money to take care of herself. I am the prize. Really? How? Then you better damn well be able to bring something to the table that he likes, honey, is all I'm saying. Thank you for being here today. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, show some love, get in the comments. Did you like this episode? Tell me why. You know I love you. See you soon.